Welcome to Troubadour Reacts. My name is Kirk, and I am musically challenged, at least according to my high school band instructor, who is probably not wrong about that. So on this channel, I'm trying to explore avenues of art that I'm unfamiliar with. I teach literature, I teach the ancient Greek literature, I teach modern literature, I teach all kinds of literature, poetry, drama, and I am not well exposed and understanding of a lot of more contemporary music. So this channel is my attempt to do that. Now, the way you could support the channel is you can go to troubadour.studio /Iliad, and you can check out my new translation of the Iliad. The spirit of this channel is experiencing new art that you're less familiar and comfortable with, and trying to have an appreciation for it, even if it's not your favorite thing. And I think that this is one of the greatest works of literature in the history of the world, and everyone should read it. And this book, I worked really hard to try to make it accessible to a first-time reader. So this is the Iliad. It's in verse, it's in iambic pentameter, but I worked really hard to get the language down to a level that anybody could pick it up. And I also have things along the way to help guide you in understanding the story. So troubadour.studio /Iliad. And you can even sign up for stuff that I do over at troubadour.studio. You could join Art Social and give me recommendations for music that you want me to explore in the future. Okay, so let's get into the reaction. So what I like to do is I like to do the reaction as raw as possible. I have not heard this song, but I have seen the image. So I've seen the cover. I've seen this guy in he's in a hospital gown, and and that's it. Sitting in a wheelchair or something. So I've seen that, but I do not know the song at all. So I'm going fully raw. Let's see what's going on. Okay. Oh, and this special shout out. This is going to be ironic. So I'm all red. You notice, because I was outside watching my friend, I won't say the person's name, but at a polo match. So I got to see that, which was a lot of fun. And so this is dedicated to B&D, we'll put it that way. And ironic because I don't normally do this, but I'm doing this today because it's been a week, man. What a week. This is September 14th, 2025. If you're seeing this in the future, Google it. This is a crazy friggin' week. So I am drinking, and they are famously not, and I mean famous, they're famous people, and they're not drinkers. So to you, I don't want anybody to drink if you don't want to, but by God, I'm going to have a damn drink. So I'm drinking some, a Smoke Wagon, uncut, unfiltered, straight bourbon whiskey. I don't know if that's even legal for me to put this on this reaction, but it's that week. Hopefully this song doesn't jack me up or something. We'll see, because it's hospital gone. Okay, I've talked too long. Let's get into this. Yeah, so I've seen this kid. Whoa, I don't remember this. Pigman, is that like Twilight Zone? I remember the Twilight Zone episode with the Pigman. That was creepy. I've heard that, like. Okay, is he British? Is this doesn't matter, man. Okay.
Hi there, Ren. It's been a little while. Did you miss me? You thought you buried me, didn't you? Risky.
He's talking to himself?
Deep down you know that. Deep down you know I'm always in periphery. Ren, on your pleased to see me. It's been weeks since we spoke, bro. I know you need me. You're the sheep, I'm the shepherd. Not your place to lead me. Not your place to be biting off the hand that feeds me. Hi, Ren. I've been taking some time to be distant. I've been taking some time to be still. I've been taking some time to be by myself since my therapist told me I'm ill. And I've been making some progress lately. and I've learned some new coping skills. So I haven't really needed you much, man. I think we need to just step back and chill. Ren, you sound more insane than I do.
Okay, I see what's going on.
Doctors are really there to guide you. Been through this a million times. Your civilian
internal
mind
monologue.
is so perfect to always being lied to. Okay,
like that.
take another pill, boy. Drown yourself in the sound of white noise. Follow this 10-step program. Rejoice. All your problems will be gone. Fucking dumb boy. Nah, mate. This time is different, man. Trust me. I feel like things might be falling in place. And my music's been kinda doing bits too. Like I actually might do something great. And when I'm gone, maybe I'll be remembered for doing something special with myself. That's why I don't think that we should talk, man. Cause when you're with me, it never seems to help. You think that you can amputate me? I am you, you are me, you are I am we are one. Split in two, that makes one. So you see, you gotta kill you if you wanna kill me. I'm not leftover dinner, I'm not scraps on the side. Oh, your music is thriving, delusional guy. Where's your top 10? Where's your interview with Oprah? Where your friend? Nowhere. Yeah, but my music's not commercial like that. I never chase numbers, statistics or stats. I never write hooks for the radio, they never even play me, so why would I concern myself with that? But my music is really connecting, and the people who find it respect it. And for me that's enough, cause this life's been tough, so it gives me a purpose I can rest in. Man, you sound so pretentious. Ren, your music is so self-centered. No one wants to hear another song about how much you hate yourself. Trust me. You should be so lucky, having me inside you to guide you, remind you, to manage expectations, provide you perspective. That thing you neglected, I get it. You wanna be a big deal, next Jimi Hendrix, forget it. Man, it's not like that. Man, it's just like that. I'm inside you, you twat. No, it's not, man, you're wrong. When I write, I belong. Let me break the fourth wall by acknowledging this song. Ren sits down, has a stroke of genius. He wants to write a song that was not done previous. A battle with his subconscious. Eminem did it. Played on guitar. Plan B did it. Man, you're not original, you're criminal, rip-off artist, opinion.
I so understand that. Like, this is amazing. I'm like, this is so cool. And just that internal monologue and debating against yourself and all the greatness you're comparing yourself versus just being yourself.
Full of your success is stealing other people's material. Ren, mate, we've heard it all before. She sells seashells on the seashore. Fuck you, I don't need you, I don't need to hear this. Cause I'm fine by myself, I'm a genius. And I will be great, and I will make waves, and I'll shake up the whole world beneath us. That's right, speak your truth, your fucking God complex leaks out of you. It's refreshing to actually hear you say it instead of downplay it. Music is all about the creative process, and if people can find something to relate to within that, then that's just a bonus.
Great.
Fuck you, I'ma fucking kill you, Ren. Well, fucking kill me then, let's fucking have you, Ren. I'ma do it, watch me prove it. Who are you to doubt my music? Cause I call the shots, I choose if you die. Yeah, I call the shots, and so I choose who survives. I'll tie you up in knots when I lock you inside. Newsflash, I was created at the dawn of creation. I am temptation. I am biblical. The snake in Eden. I am the reason for treason. Beheading all kings. I am sin with no rhyme or reason. Son of the morning, Lucifer, Antichrist, father of lies. Mephistophelies, truth in a blender, deceitful pretender, the banished avenger, the righteous surrender when standing in front of my solar eclipse. My name is stitched to your lips, so you see, I won't bow to the will of a mortal. Feeble and normal. You wanna kill me? I'm eternal immortal. I live in every decision that catalyzes chaos that causes division. I live inside death, the beginning of ends. I am you, you are me, I am you, friend.
Man.
Hi, Ren. I've been taking some time to be distant. I've been taking some time to be still. I've been taking some time to be by myself, and I've spent half my life ill. But just as sure as the tide starts turning, just as sure as the night has dawned, just as sure as the rainfall soon runs dry when you stand in an eye of a storm. I was made to be tested and twisted. I was made to be broken and beat. I was made by his hand, it's all part of his plan that I stand on my own 2 feet. And you know me, my will is eternal.
This reminded me of so many
and you know me, you've met
great
me before.
classic works of poetry.
Face to face with a beast, I will rise from the east and I'll settle on the ocean floor. And I go by many names also.
Definitely got some Hamlet in here.
Some people know me as hope. Some people know me as the voice that you hear when you loosen the noose on the rope. And you know how I know that I'll prosper? Cause I stand here beside you today. I have stood in the flames that cremated my brain, and I didn't once flinch or shake. So cower at the man I've become when I sing from the top of my lungs. That I won't retire, I'll stand in your fire, inspire that me to be strong. And when I am gone I will rise in the music that I left behind. Ferocious, persistent, immortal like you, we're a climate to different sides.
A lot of Milton, for sure. A lot of Bible, but also some...
When I was 17 years old,
just some straight
I
monologue.
shouted out into an empty room, into a blank canvas that I would defeat the forces of evil. And for the next 10 years of my life, I suffered the consequences, with autoimmunity, illness, and psychosis. As I got older, I realized there were no real winners and there were no real losers in psychological warfare, but there were victims and there were students. It wasn't David versus Goliath. It was a pendulum, eternally swaying from the dark to the light. And the more intensely that the light shone, the darker the shadow it cast. It was never really a battle for me to win. It was an eternal dance. And like a dance, the more rigid I became, the harder it got. The more I cursed my clumsy footsteps, the more I struggled. So I got older, and I learned to relax, and I learned to soften, and that's
a good thing to learn.
It is this eternal dance that separates human beings from angels, from demons, from gods. And I must not forget, we must not forget, that we are human beings.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, all right, so I'm going to do some readings and discussions of the lyrics. I'm very intrigued by the style. I mean, it's clearly something that he has a message and a thing he wants to say, and he's using a variety of different techniques along with, you know, obviously music to kind of express himself in a very unique way. And the whole thing, this is again my first reaction, but it seems it's the internal battle that he's had as a creative person trying to create something that's actually unique versus just creating something and not worrying about if it's unique, because it's never going to be unique. Like he has that moment where he talks about, well, Eminem did this. Like I'm going to have this kind of, you know, internal monologue and, oh no, it's not that. Well, Eminem did it this way. And it's like, no, I'm going to do it something a little bit different. So I find that whole expression I understand that very well as somebody who tries to create things and write stories. It's like someone's written this before, basically, it feels like. So I resonate with that a lot. I wanted to look at a couple lines. I took some notes about some things that came to mind with these. And, you know, what's ironic that I appreciate about Ren here is that what I'm about to do as a person who comes from, you know, liberal arts and cultural history of studying the great books of the Western world is I'm going to do exactly kind of what he is having a schizophrenic moment about by referring to the great works that came before him. So there's a philosophy about and I don't know if it's a philosophy is the right word for it, but Harold Bloom, the great literary critic, had this view that all great literary writers need to kill their fathers. And there's a desire to do this, and this can explain a lot of the back and forth of the conversation of Western literature from Homer to our own time today. And you can see this in a lot of the work where they're trying to understand their fathers and then kill their fathers in an interesting way. And so what I'm going to be doing is kind of looking at a few of his lines and giving some literary thoughts that I've seen and references, I've had. I hope you find this interesting. But so one is he has this line, and I think there's a whole section about this, about the dual part of it. That's kind of the dual aspect of his personality. I think that's a big part of this whole story. And he says, you think that you can amputate me. I am you, you are me, you are I am we. And he has this whole thing. And there are so many stories about this double nature of the internal man. There's a famous novella. It's really a novel, but it's technically I think it was a novella in Russian, The Double by Dostoevsky. And it's about this kind of thing. And a man becomes two men. He sees his own reflection in another and begins to hate him as himself. And that is a very Russian perspective on things of this, seeing your own internal self and hating that secondary self. Now, a more positive version of this, I'm gonna drink some of mine. By the way, this was a gift, vintage 1985. That's when I was born. So thank you to the friends who gave me this recently. Yeah, there's another version that I think of this style of vision, which is Walt Whitman's Song of Myself, which I've never been a huge fan of personally. There's a couple lines in there that I like, but there's a style of it that it's a little loose for me sometimes, but there's some good things here. So do I contradict myself? Very well, then I contradict myself. I am large, I contain multitudes. And the whole kind of concept of Song of Myself is this idea that this individual ruggedness in America is representative in the self. And it's about the self. And I see that a lot in the trying to amputate yourself but you can't actually do it. You're part of this greater whole. And then of course, as I mentioned in the reaction, Hamlet came directly to mind of that dual inner monologue perspective where to me, Hamlet often does have this almost Gollum-like perspective and discussion where there's a duality to him, where he's really battling with himself. I have that which within which passeth show, these but the trappings and the suits of woe. And there's a kind of hidden inner life at war with the outward appearance. Now, there's a very clear one that I'm sure this is not brilliant observation on my part, but I am temptation, I am the snake in Eden, I am the reason for treason, beheading all kings. And there's so much about the history of, the reason for treason. I like that kind of, that rhyme there, beheading all kings, that there's this underlying motivation between this nature of rebelliousness and desire to act out and destroy the powerful that is hopefully a bad powerful. Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. I am the spirit that negates, and rightly so, for all that comes to be deserves to perish wretchedly. That's from Goethe. And then of course there's a lot of Bible, verses and that you could quote in that. So this was another one. I was made to be tested and twisted. I was made to be broken and beat. I was made to be tested and twisted. And I've heard this, and I think you've heard this a lot too, in terms of, the challenges that are before you are put there by God to make you the person you need to become in order to accomplish those things. This is an ancient idea. When I've taught the poem or the drama play by Aeschylus, Agamemnon, it's a great play that it's part of the Oresteia trilogy. I really recommend everybody read the Oresteia. I think it's one of the great works that everyone needs to read. And there is this moment when Agamemnon, in order to become the Greek leader that will defeat Troy, he needs to enact a horrible thing, and that's part of the test. And there's this moment where he has to take the yoke, and that's the word that they use in the Greek, is he has to put the yoke of fate on his neck and willingly move out. That's the test to move forward and take the action which will turn him into the man that can destroy Troy. And he has to do that. By the way, in Agamemnon, that is the killing of his daughter Iphigenia in a horrible sacrifice. And if you saw the TV show, The Game of Thrones, there is a parallel to that moment in that show, which I won't spoil that. But that is so that's a big part of what I think is happening here. I find this really interesting. I was made to be tested and twisted. I was made to be broken and beat. This idea of being, the testing and twisting, you're made for that. Hopefully you can overcome that. I thought of a line from Tennyson, In Memoriam, that men may rise on stepping stones of their dead selves to higher things. So I hope that that is more what this Hi Ren, this Ren can go to. And, you know, the Hi Ren, like, hey Ren, like I like that as well. Even the title is really good. There's this reference to swaying. It was not David versus Goliath. It was a pendulum, which to me is like a back and forth type thing. So it's a dialectic, I think, is what the meaning of this, in a sense, eternally swaying from the dark to the light. Again, this is an old idea. This idea that it's not just one or the other, it's not either or, it's a co-mixture of the two, turning and turning in the widening gyre. The falcon cannot hear the falconer, and that's Yeats' The Second Coming. And that's a very good poem. I think everyone should read that one for sure. I like his grandiosity. He has a kind of approach that I saw a lot in Shakespeare and many great poets, where there is a sense of grandiosity in the sense that what I create will become immortal, you know, and when I am gone, he says, I will rise in the music that I left behind, ferocious, persistent, immortal like you. And I find that interesting. You could see, if you read Sonnet 18, by Shakespeare, I think you could see some of these same things. And there's echoes of this, you know, so that's the one, so long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. And when I am gone, I will rise in the music that I left behind, ferocious, persistent, immortal like you. I think there's the kind of resonant view there that I really like. This one was another one that just struck with me, and I want to think about it more. Some people know me as hope. Some people know me as the voice that you hear when you loosen the noose on the rope, which seems to me this, you know, the essence of hope, of like, don't give up. So loosen the rope. I hope I'm interpreting that correctly. That's how I'm kind of, you know, understanding this. Perhaps someday it will be pleasing to remember even this. You know, that's from the Aeneid, Virgil. And there's a sense of this that I'm getting of don't give up. And so I'd be curious. I really want to know more about the story behind this song by Ren. I think his name is Ren, right? Is it Hi Ren? That's the whole point of it, right? Song by Ren Gill. Yeah. I'd really like to know his backstory. Who was he? I know nothing about him. So like, from what I'm gathering, you know, he's not had a success he's had some minor amount of success, but this is probably, looking at the numbers, his massive hit, right? And so there's a lot that he's playing with and saying about like, well, what if I never make it to that level? Is it okay? Has my life been worthwhile? What do I do? And I think it's interesting that this is the song that finally did it. Now, maybe he already had a big hit before this, and that's fine too. I think it's still a lot of the same kind of meaning, but man, that was such a fun story. And again, I liked that dualism that he was fighting back and forth within his own internal self, giving song to that, because all of us have experienced that. All of us have felt that in some way. And especially if you're any kind of creative and you're trying to put yourself out there, whatever you're trying to do, and you want, you know, you have that internal monologue all the time about, what the hell am I doing this for? Like, there's so many easier life paths that I can make. Why am I doing this? And nobody's listening. I'm, putting something out there. And, I can tell you, I've written hundreds of short stories and like people barely read it. And like, oh my God, what am I wasting my time for with my only point on worth? So this really resonated with me and as a song. So I appreciate it. So thank you very much. I wanted to close with one little thing if you're still here. Though I've belted you and flayed you by the living God that's made you, you're a better man than I am, Charlie Kirk.